Welcome to the Intuitive Pool podcast and welcome to season 6. This is a time of harvest. This season is dedicated to bearing the fruits of your labor as we come into alignment with your full joy, your full trust, your full faith, and your fullest expression of your leadership today. I am so excited about sharing this next season with you. Hello, Intuitive Pool community. Today's episode is inspired by an experience I had on a boat in Nusa Lombongan on the way to swim and snorkel with manta rays, which was absolutely amazing, let me tell you that. So I was on this boat. There was probably about 30 people on the boat, and 2 seats in front of me was, I guess, a man around his early 20s. And it was obvious that he had cancer because he had chunks of hair missing from his head. And as I was sitting there behind him, I was asking myself, I was in real contemplation mode, and I was asking myself, and I do not want the universe to test me on this. I was asking the universe if I was in his position and perhaps I had a terminal illness, would I still be doing what I do now? Would I still be coaching, or would I be spending all of my time going on holidays with my family? Would I write the book that I've not yet written? And my answer to that contemplation was, yes, I would go on more holidays with my family and see more of the world and be together, because really that's, for me, one of my greatest joys in traveling is to be together with my family, or whether it's friends or clients on retreat. And it's definitely something that I got from my mum. And if I was well enough, yes, I would absolutely still be doing the work that I do now. I shared this story with a friend of mine, and he said the same thing. He said his litmus test is if he won, the lotto. And in fact, I run that story through myself as well. If I won the lotto, would I still be coaching? And my friend said he would be doing his work, just in a whole lot nicer shoes. So it was a wonderful contemplation sitting there, and the only nuance that came to me when I was considering being in that scenario, as I said, God forbid, that there would be a conversation that I would have, and it would be a conversation around urging joy into your lives. If I was to be speaking to clients, it would be urging joy into your lives. And it was wonderful because not long after, I think that night, I received an email from my favorite poet and philosopher, David Whyte. And let me just pull this up. He said this, and I thought it was just so perfect in light of what I was thinking about. He said, "Time is not slipping through our fingers. It is we who are slipping through the fingers of time." And it was perfect because as I was contemplating the reason why I would still be doing the work that I do now, if I won the lotto, yes, I'm saying yes to the universe for that one. And God forbid if I had terminal illness, is that my work does not feel like labor. My work feels and is so joyful. When I was speaking to my friend who said I just have nicer shoes, he said our work sits at the level of obsession, and it does. And it's an obsession, a healthy obsession. And really, how many people can say that? How many people can say, if I won the lotto or if I had a terminal illness, would I still work? How many people can say, yes, I would still do what I do now, maybe in nicer shoes? when I came home on Tuesday morning after a horrible overnight flight. That Bali flight, overnight flight back home is just so not nice when you're sitting in economy. And I came home on Tuesday, and then Wednesday was my first day of sessions, and I had a beautiful day of sessions. My first session that I had was a group call with the Sacred Leaders group, and it was our completion call. And I can't tell you how joyful that call was, because everyone who spoke directly from their heart. I had given them homework. I had given them a set of questions to ponder on, and none of them had done their homework. And it was absolutely perfect because they showed up in celebration, which was the purpose of the call, completely speaking from their heart. There were so many tears on that call, tears of gratitude, tears of joy, tears of celebration. One person said that this is the first time in her life that she does not live in trauma in 60 years. Another person said that this has been the best year of her life, and the less she conformed and planned, the more love and joy she experienced in her life. And this is a CEO of a company where she is responsible for a lot of people. And I had an immediate reflection, right? After sitting on that boat contemplating, would I still be doing what I do now? Yes, the answer is because it's so joyful for me. And then the very first work call I have is a group call with these sacred leaders, and literally everybody is in tears of gratitude. I thought, what an amazing creation that is, that not only did I decide that to be true for me, that I would continue working, but I got the immediate reflection of so much joy in my work on my very first call. Now, the thing is that I don't think there are many people that would be so happy to be back at work after a holiday. And I can tell you, I was just so happy to be back on these calls. On the same day, I had an interesting conversation with somebody who's about to take maternity leave. And she was talking about the grief and the loss that she was feeling, and the guilt that she was feeling, that she was experiencing grief and loss when she's about to leave her work and birth a baby. And I replied to that grief and loss with, is there anything wrong with loving your work so much? And then I told her about the story of being on the boat. So I was compelled to write an article on Substack to this point. I was compelled to record this podcast, really to urge more joy in your life. Now, sometimes joy is absent in our work for these reasons. Joy is absent in our work when we're not on purpose. And there's a caveat here, because I have witnessed people not being on purpose, but being in acceptance. And in acceptance, they are feeling joyful. Joy is absent in our work when we're not in alignment with our authenticity. I have well and truly experienced that in the past, and devalued myself and gave my power away and put my power in other people's leadership. And all that I can tell you was that it was a very joyless experience. Joy is also absent in our work when we're striving to be good enough, because we believe that we're never good enough. And so we're on that vicious cycle of striving in order to impress ourselves and impress the people that we think we need to impress, that we perceive that we need to impress. Joy is also absent in our work when we are trying to resolve who we do not want to be. Just listen to that one. Joy is absent in our work when we are trying to resolve who we do not want to be. Joy is also absent when it actually leaves us, when we try and hold on to who we have been and to the way in which we have gone about our work. And essentially, when we're attached to working from the field of predictability. Joy is also absent when we are chasing money and chasing status, and we're distracting ourselves because we are trying to fill the void of not feeling on purpose and not feeling like we are living a life of meaning. And joy is also absent in our work when we are playing it safe and playing it small. In fact, I just spoke to somebody one-on-one just before recording this episode, and she said that she had this habit since a child that she believed that she couldn't be as big as she naturally is, and so she would dumb herself down. And there is no joy in making ourselves smaller than who we are. Now, there's one more thing that I want to say here, and that is that I've just been talking about when joy is absent in our work because we're in misalignment. But there's also another urge, not about bringing joy because of its absence, but about bringing more joy where joy already exists. And it's when life is asking us to let go of playing in the field of predictability. When life is asking us to let go of being attached to who we've known ourselves to be, when life is asking us to let go of being attached to how we've done things. And there's this tidal force that's actually asking us to surrender again and to let go and to grow and to take more leaps and to dare to lead and to allow our leadership to have a greater impact by allowing it to have a greater breadth. And so here it's not about bringing joy because there's an absence of joy. It's about bringing greater joy, not because there's an absence of joy, but because we're here to grow. So it's quite a brave conversation to have when we're considering this proposition that we can have a level of joy in our work such that we would continue to do it in circumstances that limit our time, or we would continue to do it when we don't need to be working to earn money. It's a brave conversation to have because it asks us to have a look at where are we out of integrity? What is out of integrity? Who is out of integrity? What environments in my life are out of integrity? It's a really bold and courageous conversation to have because some of the answers that we may receive may mean that we have to, not have to, but we're invited to make different decisions. We're invited to make decisions that are more self-loving and self-honoring and more honoring, in fact, of who we are being called to be and where our joy is found. It's a really brave conversation, and I want to acknowledge and honor all the people that I've coached and the people that I'm coaching because they have had that conversation with themselves that has actually brought them into coaching, where they've seen that joy has been absent, or like I said before, there's joy there, but there's the opportunity for greater joy. And no matter which camp they live in, there are decisions that need to be made. And some of those decisions mean that things are let go of, things are surrendered up, that there's space that's created for the new to then arrive and take its place. And so the other reason why I was pulled to write a Substack article and also record this podcast is because of the time of year that we're in. Today is the 20th of December, and It's almost time for holidays. It's almost time for the end of the year. And very soon it will be the 1st of January 2025. And it is a time of contemplation. Yes, it's really crazy and busy around the Christmas time. And then it gets a little quieter. And then the beginning of January is very much contemplation time. And so I wanted to bring this to you in this time of contemplation that you most likely will have. And really ask you in that contemplation, do you feel like you have the freedom within and the courage to make different decisions next year such that you do bring joy into your work, into your life, or you do bring greater joy where joy already exists? I am going to be facilitating a free masterclass on the 31st of December. Let me tell you at what time, at 10 a.m. Sydney time. So the 31st of December at 10 a.m. Sydney time, that's AEDT. It will run for 90 minutes. The masterclass will be one where I'll be inviting you to have your own conversation with yourself. And I am betting that it will be the most important conversation that you have with yourself on the 31st of December this year. The masterclass is entitled It's Harvest Time, because it is. Most people that I'm working with are in the 50 plus age group. And as David White proposed, it's not about time slipping through our fingers. It's that we are slipping through the fingers of time. And so time is pronounced for people in the 50 plus age group. Time is pronounced. And because of the years of experience and wisdom that we've had, this is a time of harvest. And so I invite you to this free masterclass on the 31st of December at 10 a.m. AEDT for 90 minutes, where I will be inviting you to have the most important conversation for you to have on the final day of 2024. I look forward to seeing you. There's a link in the show notes to register. Thanks for now. Bye for now. Ciao, ciao.